Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, but welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode. I have a few new viewers, so welcome to you guys. You've joined me since the Vlogmas videos, and I just want to kind of introduce myself really quickly. My name is Sarah. I am the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature, and I do hand-dyed yarn, some other fun little goodies for handcrafters, and you can check that out on my website, multifariousnature.com. My husband and I live in Michigan, Southwest Michigan, and we have 2 dogs, chickens, ducks, 3 sheep, and never a dull moment. We live out in the country. So there's just a quick introduction. As far as the projects I've worked on this week, it's primarily been on my advents, but I have some finished objects. There's going to be all kinds of fun things to talk about. My, it's like the book club box from Woolberry. I'll talk about that as well. So lots of fun stuff. I hope you guys are here for it. I hope you have something fun to drink, cold or warm, depending on what you need. And currently I'm drinking some hydration water. I'll get into that in a moment. I am nursing, you'll hear it, a little bit of a sniffle here. I am nursing a bit of a cold. I have to say though, there are certain things that have gotten me through this, and I've talked about it in prior videos before, but I definitely am going to talk about it at the end of this video. So if you like any tips for preventing major feeling like garbage and helping you get through the holiday ickies, definitely stick around for the end of the video. So I'll talk about that as well. All right, so thank you for joining me for Vlogmas if you did. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy New Year, you guys. Oh my gosh, 2025. I am very hopeful that this will be a great year. I feel really hopeful about it. I guess I'll look at it that way. I feel very hopeful. As far as shop updates, I took time off when it comes to the holiday here. So for Christmas and New Year's, I did not do any dyeing. I took some time off, which was very needed in general. So I took time off from work outside of Multifarious Nature, my full-time job, and I took time off of Multifarious Nature as well. So that's my part-time, my fun little side hustle. I have to say, I feel really good, other than the fact that halfway through my time off, I got sick. That's usually the way it goes. I don't know about you guys. I am definitely a creature of, if I take a bunch of time off, I tend to get sick. I'm usually healthy throughout the year, and then all of a sudden my body's like, okay, you can get sick now. This happens like clockwork almost every year. And but I'm very prepared for it, and I am quite grateful that this year, at least so far, my cold has been quite kind to me, and I'm hopeful it's because I was proactive about treating it and taking care of myself. So, like I said, I'll get into the details about all that after. But let's get into my works in progress. Oh, actually, my finished object. Oh my gosh, you guys, finished objects, plural. I did it. My 2 at a time socks that I used my mintrain Advent self-striping yarn. They're done. So there you go. These are the mintrain yarn self-striping Advent socks finished. I did 2 at a time socks. The pattern, did I write down the pattern, who it's by? Shoot. You have to look at older video. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll include a link to the information below. But yeah, I loved it. It was really fun. Super fun pattern. I made it so they're kind of, I don't know if you call them like crew height socks. So they're not super tall, but I should definitely be able to wear these with my roller skates, and the roller skates should stop around, I'd say just below the ribbing. So they're just super fun. I think they're just so fun and colorful. As I mentioned in my prior video, I definitely recommend this Advent if you're looking for a fun, like self-striping Advent. I think it's a lot of fun to do socks this way. You could totally make other things with it as well. I did have some left over, and I left the bag in the other room. But I do have a decent amount of each of the 50-gram balls left. I'd say probably around 30 grams maybe, or can't be 30 grams. Probably 20, 25 grams maybe. So I really didn't use that much. I thought I would use more, but unless she gave me more than 50 grams, I didn't weigh them in advance. Probably should have. But yeah, it's just super fun. And as I mentioned, I just kind of wish there was a little more variegation in the type of colors, but I think it's really pretty. I think it's super fun. Definitely merry and bright, which is the theme of it. It's super fun. It's fun. And I did say that I thought these colors were very similar. I don't know. They're really not. Well, they are. This is kind of a lighter version of this, basically, which is fine. Here's where you can really see it. It's just very, very similar. So, personally, myself, I would like a little more variegation in the colors. Like, if you're doing 12 colors, let it be pretty significantly different colors. But that's just my opinion. Totally fine. I'm sure everybody, that had these really enjoyed it as well. And I did really enjoy working on these. So, got those done, which was so exciting. I was hopeful I'd be able to do that. I did not get them done to wear them during Christmas or the holidays. I literally finished them yesterday, the 2nd of January. But there you go. I just got water on my face. Anyway, so now work is in progress. Bringing it into works in progress. Like I said, I worked on those socks primarily. That and then this. So I worked on my Helen Stewart's Habitation throw. The Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. I am on day 16. So because I am doing the 52-inch. I think it's 52-inch. It's the large version this year of her blanket, using my Wool Swap Advent with Robin out of Quebec. And I absolutely love it. It's so much fun working with all these beautiful different dyers and different colors of hand-dyed yarn. I'm really enjoying this current one that I'm working with. So the current one I'm working with is Biscuit Yarns Biz Sock 85% Superwash Merino, 15% nylon. It is so stinking soft. And it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. I just love it. I love it. So that's the color I'm currently working on, and then I'm going to take my Odette colorway, and then I will be attaching that at the end of this one, and then I will continue with that next stripe of that. And as you can see, we're getting smaller now. So we're creating that big square. It's going to be a massive square. I'm really excited because I loved my other one, which I was supposed to put on. Supposed to put on my lap because it is freezing in here. So we are at, I think, a high of 20 degrees Fahrenheit today in Michigan. And it is frigid outside. Frigid. It's really, really cold. The wind chill is much lower. And then at night, it's in the teens right now. It's pretty darn chilly. Like 12 degrees, 15 degrees, things like that. So really, really cold. So we have the fire going, and it's quite cozy in the main part of our house. But when you go into the bedrooms, which that's where my little yarn room is a bedroom, it is quite chilly. We have beautiful big windows, which I love, and they're insulated, but you sit next to those windows, you can feel the cold. It is very cold outside. I'm wearing my Miles shirt jacket. I guess I should say that. For all of my fellow hand spinners out there, you'll appreciate this. So this is my very first raw fleece to finished garment that I've ever worked with. This was a Cotswold fleece that was a multicolor, as you can see. And I just washed it, spun it, and I used multiple, I was really random, haphazard about the colors, and I just spun it up. This is a Gotland lamb fleece, because I ran out of this one, the Cotswold. And I also used the Gotland lamb fleece on this double fold collar. I also used it then down the front as well. I did not do the pockets on this one. I still debate whether I want to do the pockets. I still debate that. I'm not convinced, but I really love it. It's so cozy warm. It's quite rustic because it is a Cotswold fleece. And some of it was spun almost like rope because, I was learning. That's what happens when you're learning. But I wear this as a coat, so I usually always have something under it. It is so warm and cozy, and I absolutely love it. So this is keeping me nice and warm in here. It's quite oversized. If you've never seen the Miles shirt jacket, I think Odette is the designer behind this one. Highly recommend it if you're looking for a fun pattern that is just relaxed fit and comfy, and it works really well. I'm constantly checking this to see if it's working. I'm paranoid. If you've been with me for a while, you know I've had to re-record things because my volume goes out. Alright. So, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, that was my Habitation throw. It's over halfway done now, but I'm still going. Got a little ways to go further. Just to give you a wingspan idea, because this is one of the sides, it's the 52 inch. So it's much bigger than a throw. It would make a massive baby blanket if you wanted to give this as a gift to someone. I feel like if you're trying to make a baby blanket for someone, go with the smaller size of this pattern, but the large size is perfect for a lap blanket. And I haven't finished it yet, of course, but I can tell already as I'm working on it, it's so wonderful because it is covering my lap and keeping me nice and cozy warm. So I still have the other colors in here that I want to work on, waiting patiently, and I am just having fun working on that during my time off right now. I've been really enjoying that, and I also got a lot of reading done. So I'll talk about that too. So that's not I don't really want to call it a work in progress, but it kind of is. So I ended up getting the it was the winter. No, not even winter. It is December. It's every 2 months. She does a book box, and it's kind of going to be a little seasonal. I think the next one is going to be mystery oriented, which is cool. I am really excited, you guys. So this did exactly what I hoped it would. I am almost done with this book. I have read almost all of it. We are down to the very last couple chapters. That is all I have left to read. I think it was the last episode I did mention how I really wanted to get back into reading actually a book, like versus a book being read to me, which a lot of times that's what I do, because then as I'm knitting or doing other things, I'm listening to an audiobook. But this is not an audiobook, and I have read almost all of it, and it is so good. I wasn't sure about it in the beginning. I thought it was cute, but I didn't know if I'd get really into it. It is considered, I guess, a Berkeley romance. It's considered a romance book. And it's very much like a Hallmark. She was very right in explaining it that way. It is very much like a Hallmark movie. Once Upon a December is the name of the book again. It's by Amy Reichert. I will be showing you all of the goodies that came with this because I did get through all of the pages to get to those. So that is literally where I left off, was after the last goodie. And I have to say, there are moments in this book where I was getting teary-eyed. It was really good. I haven't finished it, so I have no idea how it ends yet. I'm hopeful that it will shift from where it's at right now because it's brutal. But I have to say, it's really well done. I quite enjoyed it. It's very nostalgic feeling. It has a lot of Christmas. If you go to Christmas markets, like the Kris Kindle market, sometimes there's a cursed market. It depends where you're at. But I've been to a few of those, so the holidays and little Christmas markets are definitely part of my nostalgia when it comes to Christmas. So reading about this has been really fun when it comes to that, because I think it's very nostalgic, and it's a sweet little romance story, and I have to say it's really cute. And the fact that I was able to read all of that, and I started this just after Christmas. yeah, because I got this, I think it was the day after Christmas. So it's been like a week. That's crazy. I never read books that fast. That's crazy. Now that I'm like thinking about this here, and I've read over 200, like almost 300 pages in like a week. Okay, that says a lot. That says a lot. I don't read books that fast. I mean, I used to, but I haven't. Like I said, I haven't gotten into books in a long time. So that says a lot. It was very motivating that she has little goodies associated with it. So that really helped me to get through the very beginning. Because as I said, the very beginning was a little slow for me. But as I got further along, and especially got closer to those last two goodies, and between the last two goodies, I will say it really pulls at your heartstrings. It's really good. So excited to see how it wraps up. But I'm going to show you the goodies that came with it, and I hope you enjoy that. If you haven't read the whole book yet and you have this, definitely feel free to either skip ahead or join me in the next episode, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. I was really good about waiting until I got to the page, and I'm glad I did, because the last goodie, I really was glad the way it worked out. She did such a great job of associating things with the story and bringing things to life. It was really fun. So one of the goodies that came with it was a little bookmark. So that's always fun. You need a bookmark. So the bookmark came with it. And then we have the first goodie, which is the yarn, which all of the book boxes come with a yarn. And the colorway is called Cherry Almond Kringle. If you read the book, you'll understand what that means. And that was really fun. When I got there and I saw, isn't it beautiful? I want to make a hat out of this. I think a beautiful red hat is definitely due. I think this also would be good with a couple other colorways that I have to make like a fade, but I don't know. I kind of want to make a hat with it. And I have some super fun patterns for hats that my buddy Robin shared with me that were like free for limited time patterns. So new patterns, but you see some like light little speckles in there. So that's the first one. I think I shared this in the last video, but I probably didn't, because I don't think I read it yet. So really pretty. Really pretty. Okay, so that's the first goodie. The next goodie that you come to is really pretty. It's an embroidery little wooden... I had no idea what these things were, and I had an idea about the last one. So this one is a wooden embroidery, which is super fun. It's beautiful. So it looks like a snowflake is what it is. And it gives you all the directions. It gives you the really pretty embroidery thread. It's like a cranberry color. And then so the needles. So you have everything that you need to make this. I think the only thing it doesn't include is like a ribbon for the top to make it an ornament. Or you could hang it in your window even. But here's the size of it. Like compared to my hand, you can get an idea. It's really pretty, and I haven't done a lot of embroidery, so I feel like I've wanted to get more skilled with embroidery, and this will kind of give me a little bit of skills there to start, because I like to do mending with embroidery floss. So that's really fun. They talk a lot about crafting and things like that in the book, so that was really fun to have that as a goodie. That one surprised me. I did not know what that was going to be. This last one, I had an idea, and she did a really unique way of bringing it forward. So there is something that's talked about quite a bit. I don't want to give too much away, but there's something talked about quite a bit in this book, because they talk about the Christmas markets, like I said, and Swedish or like Norwegian traditions, and they talk about, it's called I think it's a Nisser. I think Nisser is the way that they pronounce it, and they're little little elves, like gnome elves, that apparently the tradition is that they will cause mischief, and it's definitely associated with Christmas time. And I thought, well, they talk about those quite a bit in the book, and when especially during the last page that this little goodie comes into play, and I thought, well, maybe she was going to give us a little Nisser. Well, it's a Nisser, but it's not what you would initially think. It's a mug. And it's so cute. It's got a little lid so you can make your hot cocoa or your coffee or whatever and put a lid on it, and it keeps it warm, well, especially if it's tea while it's brewing. So it'll keep it toasty, and then if you're not using it, you can set it out, and then it's a little decoration. So I think it's so stinking cute. And yeah, that just tickled me a lot because it's useful. Like, you actually can use it, even though a little gnome decoration would be kind of cute. The fact that you can use it actually makes it better, in my opinion. And then it also came with a goodie that was hidden in there. It's Moonstruck Portland, Oregon Dreamy Dark Chocolate Cocoa. Yum! I love my dark chocolate, and it's cocoa, which then I can use it. I think that's what she was trying to get at. So really fun. Ended up having, I guess, 3 goodies because I'm going to count this as a separate goodie. And I think the way it works is you get 2 to 3 goodies per book box, and I really enjoyed it. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said, I have not finished it yet, but I am literally at the end. I definitely know that I could read the rest of this today if I wanted to, because I got through, I think it was 4 chapters today in like an hour. So I've really been quite taken with this book, surprisingly. And I tend to like historical fiction, mysteries, things of that nature. And so this is definitely different. I have read not really romance books usually. They're usually more closest thing would be like when I was younger, I read the Princess Diaries, like that whole series. And that's not really a romance series, but it does have a little romance in there. But this is fun. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's an absolutely perfect holiday hug is what the New York Times describes it as. And I feel like that was a very appropriate description for it. So I definitely recommend, if you have been on the fence about trying her box, her book box, I definitely recommend trying it. If you can, if you find yourself in the position to be able to do so. Do follow her on Instagram, because that's where she'll announce if there's any openings. There's not always openings. My understanding is at the beginning of the year there's usually openings. So December there were openings. And then every 2 months, if anyone decides to cancel or they make extra or something, then she'll open it up for a couple more people. So if you do find yourself curious about the next one, I think that one might have closed already, sorry. Because I think she usually charges like 2 months in advance. But definitely follow her on Instagram if you are curious about, let's see, not February, but April's book box. So there you go. She also does a sweater box. So that is for a sweater's quantity of yarn. That is much more expensive when it comes to the cost. But if you want a little book and some motivation to get through a book, I recommend this. This was a great way to do that. I've enjoyed it a lot. Okay. So, as for now that I have finished a project, it makes me want to cast on a new one. I really don't want to do that though, because I still have quite a few projects that are actually sitting right next to me here that are waiting in the wings that I need to get back to. Like my framed sweater, I do want to get that done. That one's sitting over here. So I do want to work on that one. However, I find myself wanting to cast on another pair of socks because we will be going on a trip in February, and if I bring knitting, which I always debate on this, I haven't ever brought knitting before when we traveled via plane, because I definitely don't want to bring it on the plane. There's always that fear that they'll throw out the needles. That has been an issue for some people, so it would have to be in my checked bag. So I'm debating if I want to bring a pair of socks to work on. That would be an easy enough project to put in my bag. It wouldn't take up a lot of space. It wouldn't be super heavy, and that would be easy enough to work on. And have conversations with people and that kind of thing. So I might do that, cast on another pair of socks, just so I can do that. I also really want to cast on another sweater. So my alpaca sweater that I made from Petite Knitter's Arctic Knits book, I have worn that quite a bit, and it is so stinging comfortable. It fits me really well. So that makes me even, like, that makes me that much more want to knit another sweater from the Petite Knitters book. And the one other one that I, like, have been chomping at the bit to cast on, because I have the wool behind me in my stash here, is the Arctic jumper. So here's the picture of it. It's the one that's actually on the cover as well. It's the Arctic jumper. It's so pretty. Lots of color work. And that is, I have the wool. It's kind of, it's in here. My finger's not going to point the way I want it to. It's in here. There we go. It is lettlopi? Yeah, lettlopi. So I have the yarn for it. So I want to cast this on so bad. But I also kind of want to just not do that. But this is the time of year when it gets this cold. It's going to be in the 20s. Like, all next week it'll be in the 20s, lows in the teens. This is now the cold weather setting in for us here in Michigan, and I really want to make another cozy sweater. And this is the best time to work with really woolly wools and all that good stuff. I'm kind of fighting the urge to cast that on, though, because I really should work on the socks. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But I also, a hat would be fun. I could also work on a hat while we're traveling. Could do that too. I don't know. We'll see what strikes my fancy. I might do a hat, actually, just to do something different. Might do that. But I'd love to hear what you guys are working on. How are you doing? How are you faring? Are you guys staying healthy? This time of year is tricky when it comes to that. Like I said, it has hit me. I feel pretty good, though, all things considered. I'm slowly getting my energy back, which is great. At the beginning of the week, I was extremely lethargic. So this is helpful. Getting a little more energy again, which is great. As I mentioned, some of my little healthy hacks, as I put it. Neti pot. I swear by it. I've talked about this many years, and I will keep on praising it. Neti pot. So I primarily use it with one packet. If you read the directions for the neti pot, the saline packets, they recommend that you do half a packet per side when you're first starting. But if you get used to it, when you kind of desensitize yourself to the solution, you can do one packet per side, and that's intense. I did it the other day, 2 days. I did one whole packet per side. That was intense. It's very strong saline solution. It's more like salt water at that point. It's really strong. So I've switched back to doing a half again per side. And I think that's a little bit nicer to me, kinder on myself. But it has helped. I've not gotten plugged up where my sinus pressure is bad or anything. I haven't had that at all. So that's been really good. And then the other thing I cannot recommend enough. Now, you always have to take this with a grain of salt because I'm not a doctor. And I also realize everybody has different sensitivities. So, for me, this is not a problem. But if someone is highly sensitive to garlic, so I'm going to say garlic, if you have a high sensitivity to garlic, then I probably would not recommend this for you. But if you don't, this has helped me a lot. And it is, my understanding, it's kind of an old health hack. It's fermented honey garlic. And I've talked about it before, and I'll include a recipe that I used below, and is so easy. You literally just get either tons of little garlic from your garden, or you can get little garlic from the food store. What I recommend is getting smaller heads of garlic. You can get the regular ones, but they're so big because each clove you will basically consume at once. And so if you're not someone who loves garlic, having a massive clove of garlic would be pretty intense. So you can cut them in half. You can cut the cloves in half if you want, and that's totally fine. So that's another option if you can't get the smaller ones, but I highly recommend the small ones. And then all you do, it takes a lot of time. The peeling part takes a lot of time. But you peel it, and then you cut off the ends of the like fat end of the garlic. So usually it's a little bulb, and you cut the big thick end of it off, and you put them into a jar, and then you cover it with honey. Now it needs to be raw honey. It is very important. It needs to be raw honey, and you fill it up, and it needs to have like, I don't know if it's like like an inch or so of honey above the garlic. Now the garlic may start to float, and that's not a big deal. So what you do is, I think it's the first week, once a day you flip it, so you'll have your honey upside down, and then you flip it and you put it the other way. And you can use pickle jars, you can use whatever you want, you can use canning jars. Be mindful though, if it's a pickle jar, that you may have some leakage when it's upside down. Or I should say when you flip it back up, right side up after being upside down. I have had a little bit of honey come out from the top, so I always put a paper towel under it. But what's really fascinating is after just a couple days, I think it's like a day or two, you'll start to see bubbles forming, and that is the fermentation process starting. It's fascinating, and I think it's after a week or 2 weeks, then you can start using it. As you can start using it right away if you want, but it'll be very, very pungent garlic. But once it has fermented a decent amount, and the longer it sits, the better it tastes when it comes to the subtleness of the garlic. And I love it. I take it in the morning, and right now, because I haven't been feeling the best, I will take it in the morning, and then I take it in the evening usually. And it's really good. It doesn't bother me. I like garlic. The thing is, now this fermented honey garlic that I have is about a year old now, so it's very subtle garlic. It's the honey, it's fascinating. So you look at the honey, and the honey's a lot darker than what it initially was, and it's really the viscosity has changed. It's a lot less thick because of the garlic, the juices and everything. It's fascinating. It's really good. And so what you do is you take like your little bulb of honey, or little bulb of garlic, with like a teaspoon of honey from the jar, and you take that, and it's great. Like I said, if you have sensitivities to any of these things like honey or garlic, then this probably would not be a good idea. But I'm just saying, from medicinal, like natural, holistic stuff, my understanding is it's very good for you, and I feel really good when I eat it. It gives me a boost. Garlic is notorious for being really good for your gut and things like that. It also can be an aggravation if you have sensitivities to that kind of thing, like heartburn, things like that. Of course, it can be triggering for that, but if you don't have that, if you aren't sensitive to that, I have found it to be quite helpful, and I feel really good. So all things considered, I have felt a lot worse when I've had a cold, so I'm grateful that this seems to be helping. So yeah, I just do it in the morning and the evening, and then if I ever feel like a little off, or I'm around a lot of people that are sick, I will go ahead and have some in the morning. They also recommend that you do it on an empty stomach in the morning, so I usually drink some water right away in the morning when I get up, and I will take it at that point. And then I go let the sheep out, I get cleaned up, and then I eat my breakfast, and so it gives it some time to really get into my gut there, and that's really helpful. So I hope you find that helpful. If not, take it with what you will. And then of course tea is always wonderful as well, with lemon and honey. Green tea with lemon and honey is also one that I always recommend, and I haven't actually consumed that this much this time around. I've been drinking a lot more like chai tea and things like that, which is a black tea. But it's wonderful, and just enjoying it. I actually made myself a chocolate chai, which is really good. So I made the chai tea, I brewed it, and then I added a little bit of some homemade hot cocoa mix that I made, and that was really good. It's just adds an interesting spice to it. It's kind of like a Mexican hot cocoa with the cinnamon, but then you have the clove in there too, and the other spices, so it's really good. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. like I said, I hope you guys are doing well. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.